Hi, and welcome to BizDevWeekly, the business development show brought to you by New Lucid Television. Show the story, engage audiences, and spread the word. Also brought to you by Sales Tip a Day. If you're interested in sales tips, visit salestipaday.com. Thanks very much for watching today. My name is Kirsten Kloss, and I'm the host here with Chris Hamilton in studio. And we're going to talk today about how to get up to 400% more leads from your ad. Chris, maybe you could explain a little bit about the concept behind the idea of quadrupling your sales leads.
Absolutely, Kirsten. First of all, great to be here in studio and talking to you today. Obviously, one of the things that you and I look at numerous times is working with small, medium, and even large-sized businesses, helping them make their marketing more effective. And there's certain things that you can do to make marketing a little more effective if you just change certain things that you do. And one of these is ads. And one of the things that we look at is ads that go in magazines or in newspapers or any kind of print material, or even flyers that get sent out, any kind of printed material advertising that you have. Typically your response rate is extremely low. Ads in magazines, newspapers, the response rate's 0.1%. That comes from advertise.com. Those are statistics out of there. The other thing you see is that 80% of ads typically do not talk about features or talk about benefits. They mostly talk about features. And
a classic feature dump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People get, the problem with that is that people do not buy on features, they buy on benefits. So it's the old 80-20 rule, is you're doing it the wrong way. The other thing too is a lot of times we see ads and it's got one way to get a hold of you. And that is such a bad way to actually try to get a response rate from an ad. And most of the times we see a phone number, and that is a huge barrier to entry. People do not want to pick up the phone and call somebody to get information. They would rather be contacted by somebody or do some snooping around your website to understand if they really want to talk to you first. So first things first is what you'd want to do is give a couple of different options for ways that people can contact you or find out about you. And when you do that, you increase your likelihood of response rate by 20 to 60%. If you give someone 3 options, so I'm talking put a website on there with a specific landing page, not just the main page of your website, phone number, email address, QR code, text code, any of those, you dramatically increase your odds and increase your rates of response rates from 60 to 125% or greater.
That's pretty amazing odds.
Absolutely. Think about doubling the amount of responses you can get from this. So we'll go into some of that in a couple of minutes here on this stuff. One of the things that I look at while I was doing a lot of research on this, I figured out kind of 6 deadly mistakes that people make with ads. So the first one is only listing a phone number, which we talked about right now. Now, one of the problems with that is if you're only listing a phone number and it's your main phone number, you have no idea what your response rate is going to be against the ad that you have. It is so easy to go get a unique phone number that you can use in those ads. You can use toll-free forwarding as one example. There's lots of different ways that you get a phone number. That way you can gauge, it got seen this many times, this is how many people called us on this number, and you can see the funnel effect going in.
Yeah, the other very, very important. I mean, the idea of tracking is, and people never thought that you could do this with phone numbers. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. You basically get multiple phone numbers. You can track all of your campaigns individually. Fantastic suggestion there, Chris.
The other thing too is web pages that don't correspond with your ad. Once again, if you have an ad that's very specific about a certain offer or something like that, then the problem is if you're poking them through to your main homepage on your website, that doesn't correspond. People don't understand or grasp that bridge that you're trying to make against that. So if you actually have something that's specific, send them through to a specific offer or a landing page that works with that one. The other one too, no call to action on that ad. So if you're not telling somebody to do something, and people are inherently lazy or just don't get it, you have to walk them through the process. So you need to push them through to that sort of stuff. I already talked about this, listing features and not benefits. It doesn't mean anything to me or anybody if you're listing your features off. Once you put benefits in place, people understand exactly what you can do, what your service can do, what your product can do for them. Another thing too is too much verbiage. People don't have time to read a lot of that stuff. Make it hard hitting, very little verbiage, and get going on that stuff. And last but not least is there is no nurturing process in a funnel to drive people through and move them to a point where they actually would buy with you. So those are the 6 deadly mistakes that people make with their ads. And we can usually help people out with that sort of stuff and give the recommendations that they should use and leverage and put in. Now, typically what we're going to look at is the regular way that people do an ad. What they do is they buy an ad, they put it in a magazine, and they get between 0.1 and 0.2% response, and then they follow up on those leads that come through. That's the kind of the old way. As an example, full page ad with a telephone number. Let's just simply, that's what you're doing. Your cost is $5,000 and the readership of the magazine or the newspaper is $1,500. You expect to get about 150 leads from that, from about a 0.1% response rate, and that works out to about $33 per lead. I think you'd actually be lucky if you have a dismal ad like that in a magazine or a newspaper. You will not get that kind of uptake on this sort of stuff. Now, what we do, the way we look at it, is place your ad, but have at least 3 ways for someone to contact you. Remember, if you have 3 or more ways, you increase it from 60 to 100% response rate. You increase that response rate. So you can actually literally double that response rate or better. The other thing too, direct people through to a specific landing page. So if you've got an ad out and you're trying to push them to a website, get them to that website and go to a specific landing page. Make it informational in nature and try to capture a name and phone number if you can. But there are other ways you'll be able to capture information on that people, and that will come up in another show in the future. But it'll be a better way to actually do stuff. The other thing too is now what we talk about is putting a retargeting campaign in place. So what happens is when they hit your web page, they get cookied, and we can start displaying an ad over and over and over again. So imagine someone sees your ad once. Chances of them contacting you is remote at best. If you can direct them through to a web page, you will get your ad, if you do it properly, on a web page. If you want to retarget to these people, probably anywhere between 100 and 150 times. And as they go through a buy cycle, and that's on a monthly basis, as they go through a buy cycle, you're top of mind. So once you're top of mind, guess what who they're going to call and who they're going to contact.
They're going to be reminded of you, and
absolutely,
reminding is the name of the game. It's and it's not really obnoxious, is it, Chris? It's
no.
Pretty subtle.
No, it's subtle, but our ads. I mean, it's ads that go up there, and we help people with this sort of stuff. Once again, I talked about the capturing the names and emails for email marketing. And last but not least, we do have a process that will actually show you who's coming to your website, or a proportion of your traffic that comes to your website, who these people actually are. So you can start engaging in conversations. Imagine you have a website, you have no idea who's actually hitting your website and who they are. If we can start even showing you 10, 15, 25% of these people that are hitting your website, that means sales leads coming in the door. So the way we look at it is, originally you generated 150 leads at about $33 each. We layer in our process, which is oftentimes significantly lower than what you're paying for a full page ad in a newspaper or in a magazine. Our process will generate upwards of 600 plus potential leads at a cost between 50 cents and $2 per lead. That blended rate, even if you're using $2 per lead, takes you down to about $8 from $33. That's a 76% savings with a 4 times plus increase in the amount of sales leads that you get.
And it's intelligent sales leads, right, Chris?
Yes.
It's not just stab in the dark, sort of
Absolutely.
mud on the wall kind of stuff.
It's people that have actually expressed an interest in who you are and what you are,
Gotcha.
and have seen you before.
Gotcha.
So this is how you dramatically increase your close rates and closing sales. If people want to find out how to find out more about this, they can reach us. You can call me on my cell at 403-630-1243. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that, or you can contact me at chris@salestipaday.com. Kirsten, if they want to reach you, how can people contact you?
Well, I mean, the easiest way is to go through the BizDevWeekly portal, which is newlucid.com. And there's always ways to contact both Chris or I through that portal as well. So, great. Good information, Chris. And we're going to obviously be talking about this more in future shows. We just thought we would kind of kick it off with a, an overview of probably one of the best bang for the bucks that's out there right now on internet marketing. So thanks, Chris, for joining.
Thanks for having me, Kirsten.
And thank you all for joining. We appreciate your attendance. See you next time.